going to assume everybody had the music playing because you didn't stop me. Can you guys still hear me? Randy, can you hear me?
Yes, and the music
Oh,
played as well. It was great.
awesome. That's never worked for me before other than when we practice it, so thank you. So I've chatted a little bit about it. I had gotten ahead of myself about the competency model, and I had on here for you what the actual model is. And it was developed for specific jobs and job groups and organizations, occupations, and it was really just to evaluate your growth for your careers. One of the really cool things is that, oops, I guess I didn't want to show you that. Yeah, I wanted to show you that screen. I'm going to show you online what the competency model is. Excuse me. But the, ooh, I just got thrown off completely. I apologize. Um, so first we have, like I was mentioning, the BABAC guide. The BABAC guide is huge. So once you study for your exam, we have an online version of it now, so you can easily search for stuff, which makes a huge difference. But then we came out with the competency model. And like I was saying, it brings it down into the one-liners where it's easier for us to go in there and say, you know, for a certain knowledge area, these are the key points, and it kind of categorizes them for you. So it's easier to take a look at them and know what your strengths are within each of the knowledge areas. It also goes into the underlying competencies as well. And the really cool thing about having the competency model is it's designed in a way that you could do it from different levels. You could do it from as a business analysis professional, so we could do a self-assessment. You could also give it to your managers and your team leads so that they know what our best practices are and what our skills are. And you could have across your board with all of your BAs, you could have a certain level of expertise that you could actually do metrics against, and you could actually learn from each other and showcase each other and help each other get to the next level. And then I actually love this HR part, because how many of you work for an organization that maybe has a job description, or you have no idea where your job description is, or your job description has absolutely nothing to do with your actual role that you're doing at the organization? And as most job descriptions that I've come across, they kind of end up with "and all other duties required." I'm pretty sure that almost all of my job descriptions have stated that. So this is a way also to help your HR department learn and align your role, not just as VAs, but throughout the organization, where we fit in and where we could help everybody else. So we don't live in our own little bubble. Especially now where you're going through, a lot of organizations are going through complete agile transformations, that it's not just in IT, it's not just in a VA center of excellence, but throughout the entire organization. It's important more than ever to make your HR departments aware that this exists, and that, again, they're one-liners. It's so easy to pop things from here onto your job descriptions. So it's written in a way that it's makes sense from all the different levels. One of the cool things that includes within it, it's that proficiency level. So if I was to ask you, and I have it on the Jamboard, but let's go ahead and try it on here. Let's do the annotations. If everybody could go into their options and do annotations and go into the stamp. You could pick whichever stamp you prefer. And if I was to ask you, what is your, just based on this, based on the little that I've said, what is your business analysis proficiency level? Where would you mark it? Go ahead and put one of your little stamps on any of these. I guess I should have picked mine as well. And this is, we can't see who does what, so feel free to click whatever you like. I guess I should move this out of the way. So right now, what do you think your proficiency level is? Okay, for those of you that haven't entered it yet, I'm going to give you an opportunity to enter it again. But remember what you marked off here. This is, again, without having any explanation on what it is at all whatsoever. I am going to now clear if I remember how to do it, which I don't. Clear viewers drawings and clear, I guess I should have done all. What if I was to tell you the definitions of each of the, maybe not, of each of our levels? Does this change where you thought you were? Go ahead and add your little stars and hearts again. And I'll give you a minute to read that. Okay, now I want you to practice a different tool because I like to show different tools and I was really happy to learn about those annotations. If you go to your Zoom bar and you go to the participants list, you're able to either raise your hand or say yes or no or coffee. And I actually don't, oh, here it is. I'm not sure if you can see my entire screen, including the participants box that I just put in front of everybody.
Yes, we can see it.
Ah, perfect. Thank you. Yes, please interact with me. I feel like I'm talking to myself. So using these little bars at the bottom, how many of you switched your response from the first time? Before I gave you a definition, if you picked something, and then after the definition, if you had a different. Yeah. So what if I was to tell you now as well, and I'm going to, I don't know if I could clear everybody. I should be able to clear, except I don't know how to. I know there's a way to clear on the hands. Ah, thank you. Oh, maybe because I'm not host.
I got it. I was like, oh, what's that?
Thank you. I appreciate that. So what if I was to tell you that there's no right or wrong answer for this? It really depends on the context that we're referring to. And that's popular in our world. It's all about context. So I went ahead and actually put a star on all of them, even in the general awareness one. Because really, depending on, and again, we go back to all the information that's in here, simplified in here. If we go to all these, I guarantee you there's techniques that I've heard of them. So I have a general awareness, but I've never actually done them. Or I might not have even been exposed to them. And then there's things that I use every single day, day in and day out, that I'm a pro. I am definitely a strategist. I could do it in my sleep. I could coach everybody on how to do it. So there's going to be different levels according to each one, depending where you're at. I'm going to click out of here. And I wish there was an easier way to do all this back and forth stuff. But I'm going to bring you back over here because I have a bunch of windows open that I wanted to show you. The video played okay, so I don't need that. I guess I need to clear all your little stars. Clear all drawings. I love that thing. As a member, all this information is part of your membership. So log into your IIBA, go to iiba.org and log in. In professional development, this is where you're going to have the competency model. When you go into the competency model, and I kind of did a shortcut just in case it took forever, it's interactive now. So we're actually going to have every single, it has this easy to navigate bar on the left-hand side. It has, and I knew I was going to end up clicking on stuff. It has your proficiency levels that I just went over and I did a screenshot of. This is right in here. And then it goes into, again, each of the knowledge areas. And within those knowledge areas, it's going to tell you, hey, you're a strategist if you do all these things. You're an expert if you do these things. So it breaks it down to you and it kind of tells you, oh yeah, I am a badass because I do all these things. So it gives you an easy, you don't even have to figure out what your level is. You just need to go, go through and go, yep, 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 I do all this stuff. So that's what you're going to be able to know with the competency model. We then take it to the next level. And I should have showed you that slide first, but it's going to end up giving you this cool picture. We have a career action guide that plays a role with the competency model. And what this part of it is, it really just helps you evaluate where you're at, as opposed to having to go through the whole book and marking everything off, which I personally like to do. The career action guide gives you 30 questions. It breaks them down into groups of 5. And I knew I wanted to get rid of this slide. So what you end up doing is, this is one of the formats that we have automated, where you could read each question, pick, and I didn't, so don't judge me, and it goes to the next one. When you answer, this section happened to be 5. When you answer those 5 questions, it literally just lets you submit, and it gives you a score. And then you take your next one. Again, it's a total of 30. If you don't like this automation, you could also do it on a PDF. And the PDF actually adds it up for you as well. And again, they're simple. I'm pretty sure it's 30 questions. It's 30 questions, gives you your total score, and then it tells you, okay, well, within those, this is where you fit in as far as your expert level. And then once you know, it pretty much tells you where your deficiencies are or where you excel. So it's easier for you to come in, do a SWOT, which we have the spreadsheets on here for you. So you don't have to go and create them yourselves. You could download them. And then it gives you your areas of, where do I need to make things easier for myself? Where do I need to, where could I coach someone else? I myself like coaching people more than learning, to be honest. And even sometimes when you're not at that strategy level and you're kind of like, am I skilled, am I not? And you're kind of trying to figure out where you are. Sometimes showing someone else how did you think makes you better at it, because you have to learn it to the next level. And then you just go back and review. That's kind of, I think it was over here, where you understand, you evaluate, you plan what changes you're going to make to take you to that next level. You act upon it, and then you review or repeat. So it really just, it's a way of self-care that, I'm going to be honest, I've been on board for a little over 3 years, or a little over 2 years. I've been part of IIBA since 2015. This has been out there, and I knew it was out there, but I just never got around to it because I was always so busy on everybody else's project, and timeline to timeline, and 12-hour days, 14-hour days, and I don't stop to take care of myself. Having the tools already laid out. Back then it was all just a book. Now it's digital. Now you could easily stand at the grocery store and, pull it up on your phone and click away and do it through there. So we've made it easier to be able to self-care and take ourselves up to the next level. And I think I got ahead of myself without my slides, but this is pretty much what I was walking you through. So I wanted to bring it back to this question. Again, what about today was so perfect that you're not going to change something? Or what are the little things that you could do at a small scale to really make a difference in your life and take your career and yourself to the next level? And if you want, let's go back to the Jamboard and kind of visit the things that we had already written there, or, walking through some of this material, has it given you some of the aha moments? I wanted to actually walk you through a lot of them. Specifically, I clicked through them really fast, and part of the reason why I clicked through them fast is because we take pride in this being one of our member benefits. And I know that we have a lot of recipients on the call that are not members, so I wanted to respect our members and not show all of our information out. But for those of you that aren't members and want to become a member, there's tons of benefits to being an IIBA member. It's not just this material. I think networking is one of our biggest things, just having these chapter calls, having collaboration calls, being able to go to conferences and professional development days. They're usually study groups are usually a lot discounted for members as opposed to the general public. Again, you get all these tools as well. We have our webinars. I mean, like, there's just tons of information. Oh, I didn't see it. I think I might have clicked too fast, but we have a library, which I must have rolled over, with 11,000 books in it. Some of them are audiobooks, some of them are peer-reviewed journals. There's a little bit of I mean, there's 11,000 books in there. But again, there are some of, I don't know what I did with it. There's some of our member benefits. I don't go on our website often, can you tell? Because I just do everything from the back end. White papers, oh, here it is, our library. But we have our white papers. There's tons of content. But again, my main point for today's session is that we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of our careers and taking us to the next level and making sure that we stay relevant. And like I said, networking is one of those key areas of doing it. If we go back to our Jamboard, which I thought was pretty cool, we have oh, cool. Some of these went into the wrong one, but that's okay. Oh, I guess I can't put you out there. So these belong in the other tabs, but we have the UK, we have Miami, we have Fort Lauderdale, Omaha's on the line. I mean, Washington, like literally, there's a little bit of there's someone from everywhere. And we just, like, we should be able to take pride in taking our profession to the next level and taking ourselves to the next level. Again, whether it's little things or in the big picture. And that is all I have for you today, because I wanted to make sure I didn't babble the whole time and to leave some time for questions and answers. So please feel free to come off of mute and then just jump in, and let's, actually, if you don't mind, I would love for everyone to turn on their cameras. And I just completely lost my Zoom. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah,
I don't know where you guys went.
we can hear you.
Can someone write in the chat so it pops up? I lost Zoom. All right, so I have no idea where Zoom went. My little light is on, so it looks like I'm sharing my camera. Am I sharing my screen? Why does it look like I'm sharing my screen? All right, so I am staring at a yin-yang on my desktop. So, damn, I really wanted to see everybody. This is odd. All right, so talk to me, because I am literally completely blind.
Oh, what happened there?
I have no idea. I don't have Zoom anywhere to be found on my desktop.
Oh. Well, while you're looking, we do have a question that came in, so maybe you can.
I'm task managing to see if it pops up.
No worries.
Question.
So Mitchell had a question and wanted to know if you have any advice for a new college graduate who's interested in becoming a business analyst but has never worked as one.
Yes. So my advice number one is to definitely continue to be involved with the chapters. And the main reason for that is networking is a big piece to who we are and getting our foot in the door. Right here, we have, I'm sure, a variety of different organizations that someone might be hiring. And that's usually a good way by networking. Trust me, it's who you know, not necessarily what you know. It's so difficult sometimes to get your name in the door unless you know someone on the inside. So that would be my number one advice, is to network within your community. My number two advice would be to at least get your ECBA, which is the entry-level certificate of business analysis. That's the one that you don't need to necessarily have BA experience. It's all based on knowledge from our BABOK. It gives you a certification in our profession that you could add on to your LinkedIn profile. It gives you the terminology and the knowledge behind what goes into business analysis so that you could have those conversations with fellow BAs that like put it this way, a BA that turns around and says, oh, I was gathering requirements, people tend to cringe because we don't gather requirements, we elicit requirements. And when you're in a social or even in an interview, because it's actually happened where I've interviewed other BAs, and the minute they say, oh, I gather requirements, it makes me feel like they're order takers. So having some of the common terminology and pet peeves of the industry, I think goes a long way. I'm not sure if that was me. So definitely interacting with chapters and at least getting your entry level, or even one of the specialized ones that don't need the years of experience to get your foot in the door. And you guys, I just opened my task manager and Zoom isn't in there either.
Wow, well, maybe we can do it for you.
I can see you.
Yeah, I can see you and everything.
And hear you.
Weirdest thing. So what I'm doing while that's going on is I am actually opening my Outlook because I had closed it down so things didn't pop up. And I'm going to try to join again because this is really odd. This has never happened before.
No problem. It's a first for everything.
And I was so happy to like show you all the other cool things.
No problem.
So while I do this, any other questions coming in?
I have one just on if you have any advice for, for self-care for the business analyst, like, if there's any advice you have kind of.
My number one advice, which I am trying my best to practice myself. I offer advice, doesn't mean I always take it. Is not to work 14-hour days.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
And I've been working on it since 2007. I've gotten better at it. I'm not good at it. Like I mentioned, we worry about everyone else. We're people pleasers. Like, what can I do for you? How can I be of service to you? Like, what value are you seeking? It's usually all about our stakeholders. And that's why today was so important for me, because it's like literally like we're our number one stakeholder. Mm-hmm. Like if we continue to work 14-hour days and we abuse our bodies, like we have one body. There's no replacing it. There's no like ordering a clone. I've tried it. You can't just like you can't replace yourself. Yeah. So if we don't take care of this one body we have, it's gonna start shutting down on us. And I could tell you, it's definitely caught up with me. I have always been a workaholic. I have always worked 12, 14-hour days. Mm-hmm. I know some of you on the phone do that as well, that I've personally worked with. It catches up with us. Like my memory is horrible. If I don't write things down, forget it. It's like not gonna happen. And that's part of like that lack of sleep. That waking up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about things for work, that's not healthy for us. I could tell you that stress for me has gained 40 pounds again. It's the nuts, and it's not even eating habits, it's the not sleeping habits. Mm-hmm. So it definitely, like our health above all, I mean, hello, look at the year we're in. Yeah. It's really trying to work less hours. I've been blocking my calendar. This is actually I've been doing for the past 3 months, and I've actually gotten pretty good about it. I block balance time on my calendar, especially with the role I have now, where it's 8 p.m. and we're on a call, but I might be on with the UK at 3 in the morning, or South America. Like South Africa has a conference next week, and that's at 2 o'clock in the morning. Wow. So my schedule is all over the place. Mm-hmm. And I was okay with that. I would wake up for the 2 a.m. calls or the midnight meeting, and then be on a 4 p.m. call with one of my coworkers. I finally, and again, this is a new routine, I started blocking on my calendar balance, where if I come in at 2 o'clock in the morning, I need to block off my calendar in the afternoon. I'm done. Mm-hmm. Are there things that are going to pop up and I end up adding? Yes, guilty. But at least it keeps people from adding more stuff to my calendar if it's not urgent, or if it's not, it has to absolutely get done. Mm-hmm. It's something that I've been practicing and trying. I preach, but I don't always practice what I preach. And the other advice that I like to share is always like take someone under your wing and coach them. Like be a mentor to someone. Having someone look up to you makes you a better VA and a better person. So if if you care about this person you're mentoring, you don't want them to work those 14-hour days, or you don't want them to cut corners when they're doing their user stories, or you don't want them to cut corners with their process flows. So if they're looking up to you, you're going to stop doing that because you know that somebody has your back and someone's watching you. So I think those are the two biggest key points that I could offer you.
Well, those are really good. Thank you, Danelkas.
Again, I don't always practice what I preach, but,
Well, we're all.
but I try.
It's trying is like the first step. I think we all can relate to the struggle.
And I mean, full transparency, I really have an issue with balancing life. And it's one of the reasons I got an imperfect tattoo on my hand.
Oh, I love that.
Was I'm a lefty. So back in the day when we always write instead of type, like it's there for me. Like I see it all day when I write. It's not for the rest of the world. It's just for myself. And it really does. And it's imperfect on purpose because there's no such thing as perfection. But it was just a reminder, usually late at night when I was still doing, notes for my, from my elicitation, rewriting stuff of, I need to put the pen down at some point.
Oof, yeah. That's good. So I have another one. I just have one more, and it's about BBC. And Judy, you're in the line too. So I wanted to check and see if you guys have any spoilers. You guys have any, anything that we can look forward to that you want to share?
Spoilers. What Judy speaking? It's exciting.
Anything
Judy,
you're excited about? Yeah, Judy speaking. That's awesome.
Judy, what's your topic?
It is, God, I knew you'd ask me that.
Sorry. You guys,
what
lately?
Yeah, exactly. What background makes a good product owner on an agile team? And it'll be interactive. The activities changed a little bit because it's not in person, but
yeah,
that's it.
This virtual world has definitely taken us for a spin, and BBC I think is probably our biggest hit. In general, COVID has actually worked in our favor as far as chapter interaction. We've seen more attendance on our chapters. We've seen chapters interacting with each other, which is kind of cool. Personally, I've been able to speak all over the place because we're virtual, which is kind of neat, even though I'd much rather travel. But Judy and I joke about this all the time, that within a matter of 3 days, we were having breakfast in Brussels, our day-to-day in the US, and then we had, was it happy hour at 11 p.m.? Well, for me, it was 11 p.m. in Hawaii. Yeah. And then the next day we were in Egypt, like within a 2-day span.
Wow.
So it's pretty neat that we're able to do that. So it's, for the most part, it's been a positive. With BBC, it's been a whirlwind because planning a conference like a large conference in person takes a lot of work. And then trying to convert it into a virtual makes it that much more difficult. I think if you had a physical, fine, great, whatever, and then if you have a brand new virtual, then you plan it virtual. But the fact that BBC already existed and we're trying to make it virtual, it's harder to fit the pieces in. It's harder to find, how do we network? Because that's the number one thing with these large conferences is the networking aspect of it.
Right.
So it's trying to fit in. We're using a tool, which I don't know if it's officially been announced, so this might be a spoiler for you, a spoiler alert. We're using a tool called Fuva for the conference. So it's going to offer us different chat opportunities. We're going to have breakout rooms. So we're trying to create as many interactive activities as possible. But it's a challenge. And I mean, we're looking forward to it. I'm bummed that we're not all going to be in the same room. And I'm bummed that I'm not planning the reception. But at the same time, we are going to make it interactive. And for those of you that are chapter leaders that are on the call, we're also doing the chapter leadership day again. And you don't have to be a part of BBC to do leadership day. So make sure you sign up for that if you're one of the chapter leaders. And if you're not a chapter leader, being a chapter leader is a great opportunity to interact with other BAs, to give back to your community, to attend leadership day. We do a lot of activities that are just for our chapter leaders, and leadership day is one of them. It's just excelling your skills as a leader and how to interact within your community and with other peers. It's kind of cool. That one, we have most of it planned out and we're excited. Judy and I, along with Jared, which is our director, are going to put that one together for our chapter leaders. So that should be really exciting.
Awesome. I'm excited. I hope everyone, I know everyone else is. So
For
really
BBC, actually, the speaker.
Judy,
Well,
you're
Randy, you asked for a spoiler. This really isn't
Oh.
a spoiler, but am I breaking up?
a little bit. I can hear you.
Nasty. But the speakers will be using Zoom, but the participants will actually see it live streamed on Whova. So you want to make sure you download the Whova app.
Awesome. That's
Yep.
very, very cool. I'm looking forward to going on there and networking too. I feel like it's awesome that you found a way to still have, help support people networking with one another. So that's really awesome. So, and I know it's a little bit after 8. Danelkis, I just wanted to thank you on behalf of all South Florida's chapter members and our board. It's always a pleasure to have you supporting us and just a great message. I think everyone can, relate to it, and hopefully everyone took away just that self-care and just hopefully everyone can, all of us will that'll settle in with us that we need to kind of think of ourselves as a stakeholder too. Just a great message.
And you guys feel free to reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn. I work crazy hours, so you might not hear back from me for a day or two, but I do respond. Feel free to connect and reach out to me. And if you think of anything or have any questions, feel free to reach out. And Keith, I will be sending you your competency model. I'll verify your address just to make sure beforehand, and I'll send it out.
That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. I'm sorry I went back and forth and might have been a little unprofessional, but I'm just me and this is what you get. I'd rather be authentic than stuffy behind apparently a Zoom that I lost.
You're in good company because, this is what we all do. We all do this every day, having to pivot and figure things out on the fly.
This is a new one actually for me.
Well,
But
well,
it was fun being here with you guys, and I hope you guys got a little bit out of it.
Definitely. So everyone, if you are not a member of IIBA, we want to encourage you to go to iiba.org to learn more about IIBA and about the certifications that IIBA offers and just the many resources that IIBA offers that Danelkis mentioned. And we also want to encourage you to become a member at South Florida chapter. You can go to our website at southflorida.iiba.org and go to membership to find out more about our chapter. You can also become a volunteer by emailing our president at president@southflorida.iiba.org. And please connect with us on social media at IIBA South Florida on Twitter, and you can find us on LinkedIn as well. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you so much, Danelkis. Thank you, even Judy, for joining. We really appreciate your support. So everyone have a great night.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.